Yes, sir.
What happened, Miss Annie?
On the day of the 12th, or
Whichever day that you had to,
on the
that you
12th
had, you felt that you had to complain about.
on the 12th of February, my two grandbabies were out on the porch. I was standing at the counter right there, and where you see that hot plate, that I had a rice cooker there because we had a sewer problem for the entire month of February. They even excused the month of February, meaning that I didn't have to pay because it was such a mess until they fixed it. Anyway, that's why the water was boiling. That's what I'm saying. So I saw Antonio Johnson park right where you are. He's walking to the door angrily. When he started walking to the door, his two children ran in the house to the back room, my son's room. Standing at the counter, he stood right here, and I said, I've been on the counter. Antonio Johnson do not come in this house. You do not pay rent here. You do not live here. He just stood there for me. And then he said, y'all got me fucked up. And he came in the house. The first he came in the house, my daughter's air mattress was there for her and her children. Because he threw them out. He lifted up the blankets and that, looking for, she said it was the phone he was looking for. He could not find the phone there because she had it hid. She's got evidence of him abusing her and putting him on that phone. Apparently they were angry that day, so he thought she was going to go with me against him. That'll never happen. She's stuck. So he walked from here to the back, all the way back there where all of her belongings were. She's since got them out.
Who is she?
My daughter, Empress Anderson.
Okay.
And he walked back there. I'm still standing at the counter, so I'm just trying. I'm looking at him walk past me to the back of the house, and then I turn around and see him walking back, and he stood here with her. She was following right behind him. I said to her, stop following him. That is the problem. You're always following this man.
Hold on, sir. 224 headquarters. Put me out at 606 Lewis. Restoration Pine. All right, go ahead. You finish.
And I said, you're always following this man. That's the problem. She said, no, I want to see something. I don't know what that means. So they face to face right here where her air mattress was. And then he started swinging on her. She went to the bed and balled herself up in her feet. So I'm just standing at the counter just watching. He was watching and his two babies were watching. And
As he jumps on her.
as he jumps on her.
Okay.
And I'm confused. I was lost and I felt stuck. I didn't know what to do. And all of a sudden I looked over and I saw the water. And I doused it. And it's so funny because he was right on her. But as I doused him with the water, it just got him. I don't even know how that happened, like magic. And so he held his hand, he said, y'all burnt me. And then he came outside, he stood right there, and he said, y'all burnt me. She came outside, and she was doing this, and I was like, get in the house, get in the house. And I slammed the door. I got on the phone, and I called the police, and I explained to the police, my son-in-law is what I call him. He's not my son-in-law. He's my grandchildren's father. He came in the house, he assaulted my daughter, and I doused him with water. The lady asked me, the officer asked me, did she need rescue? I said, no ma'am. I just wanted to make a report. I wanted to press charges on him. The officer came, Officer Woodall came, there were two officers, Woodall and another man, another officer. And first he came, and her and I were standing here, and I'm telling him what's going on, and then he stopped me, and he looked at her, and he asked her how old she is. And I said, she's 25. And he said, well, let her tell me. So I went in the room. I'm in the room for a little while, and it's very quiet here on the porch. So I came back out, and I said, what's going on? She said, I'm about to be arrested. A trespassing warrant, probably from his mama's project house over there in Moab Lane. And so he took her as he had her to the car. I'm talking to him, and I could see she was frustrated because she had her hands cuffed and she had her head down. So I said, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not going to bother you. Just wait until you come back. Because I'm asking him, where's the paperwork? I want to fill it out so I could press charges on him. Because that was the one opportunity I had that I didn't need her. Because I saw this with my own eyes. A few months earlier, he crashed her car, literally crashed her car while the children were inside and she was on top. I'm sitting in my room, he drove the car up all the way up to right here.
I got you, but let's
Okay.
stay on here. Let's
I'm
stay
so
on
sorry.
track.
So the officer came back after he took her. I asked them to let me get the paperwork. The other officer went to his car, his trunk. He said he didn't have no papers. So he went to Woodall. Woodall told him to tell me he's going to fill it out. I never even got the chance to tell him what happened. So they left. When they came back, they beat on the door real hard. And the two babies were screaming and running to the back. And I said,
They left with your daughter, or
yeah,
they left?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They took her. Officer Woodall had her in his car.
Okay.
They beat on the door, and I told the children, because they were screaming and running. I said, oh, don't worry, he's coming to help us. So I opened the door. I'm explaining to him what happened, and I'm moving while I'm explaining to him. I'm standing here, and then I moved over here to show him that he went that way, the perpetrator.
So the guy was still here?
No. This was my explanation.
Oh, telling them what happened. Okay,
Right,
sorry.
the guy had gone to the hospital.
Gotcha. Did they take him? Did they call EMS while they were
No,
here?
he drove.
Oh, he left. Was he
he
here when they came?
No, he was at the hospital.
Okay, so keep going. I'm sorry. So they take her and come
Allegedly,
back.
He was at the hospital. Yes, they take her and they come back. I'm thinking for the report, for the incident. So as I'm moving physically to show them the movement, they ran inside. And then I turned around and then they stopped. Like they both were right here. And then Woodall said, come outside because of COVID or something like about COVID. So I said, okay. So I'm standing at the door right here. Officer Woodall is standing. He's very tall. His 1 foot is here. The other officer is there. And I'm standing here. And then Officer Woodall said, with his feet, come step right here. And I'm not thinking nothing. So I stepped right there. And then he said, look that way. And when I look that way, I'm like, what are you doing? He said, I'm arresting you for aggravated battery. I'm like, how? When I'm the victim. The man came to blah, 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 blah. And so he took me to the car right there. He zipped my jacket down. He patted me. I said to the two officers, you're a man. You're not supposed to touch me. The other officer said, oh, it's just your jacket. So I'm like, wow, that's touching me. Anyway, no resist. I got in the car. I said to him, officer, my children are in the house by themselves. You just took my daughter to jail. My son and my two babies are in the house. He says, well, you better call someone. Give me a number.
Right.
Give me a number before I call defense. So I gave him my son's number. And when he dialed the number, I screamed out the window, son, please come and get the babies, blah, 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 blah. So they called defense and get the children. My son was on his way to work. He pulled up right there. He asked Officer Woodall when he got out of the car. He said, isn't she allowed to stand her ground? And I don't know what he said after. I don't know what happened after that. But I know the officer drove off while I was trying to talk to my son out the back. He rolled up the window. He drove me to the Overthorpe station. Took me upstairs. He said it was going to be a questioning by a detective. So I'm sitting there waiting. Nothing ever happened. While I'm waiting, of course, I'm talking plenty of trash. And I'm screaming violation. You arrested me illegally, blah, 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 blah. I was just pissed off. So some little fat, chubby guy came to the door, and I asked him, are you the detective? He says, I am a detective. I'm not the detective. And he was just standing there at the little glass, just shaking his head, laughing at me like, and I'm like, getting more pissed off. What the F are you laughing for? What is going on? What kind of foolishness is this? So anyway, Woodall came. He turned me around to the wall, recuffed me. On the way out the door, he said to me, you could have pled your case. I said, I don't know what the fuck, I don't know what the F that means. Because now, like, that don't make no sense. And he put me in the car and he drove me down to the jail. When I got into the jail, there was a bunch of officers just standing around waiting on me as if I'm some kind of rabbit possum or something. And so of course I'm talking trash, but I did not resist. I'm just running my mouth. And the ladies handled me, and then the big fat sergeant threatened to tase me. And
That's the jail sergeant?
yeah, this little short bulldog. And I'm like, what kind of man? I'm a 50-year-old woman. These women are handling me. What are you threatening me to tase me for? Anyway, so they put me in a cell where I guess crazy people go, because there was no bed or anything, just a floor and a toilet.
Yeah.
And this lady, an officer with blonde dreadlocks, put up into a crown.
Mm-hmm.
She came to the door and she says, I had Chad Creek. And I'm thinking she arrested him. So I say, you arrested Chad Creek? She said no, and smiled. She just smiled and said no. So I'm like, what the F does that mean? Like, what's going on? You know, and I'm just going off. I can't tell you.
So you just lost on some of the things that they were saying and laughing about. Gotcha.
Right. What I'm not lost on is being taken to prison or jail wrongfully. Woodall created this crime. He never even asked me what. He never even let me tell him what happened. But you know what was crazy? He was on the phone with the person.
Okay, so.
Like they was friends the whole time he drove me.
Yeah, I can show you their problem friends, but let me explain what happened. Because it sounds like there's just a lot that you don't understand and what happened, and nothing was really explained to you. Based off the story that you gave, because I didn't read the case, nor did I know about the case. What Officer Woodall does is he comes to the scene and he determines if a felony has occurred or possibly has occurred. Okay? That felony being the water that was thrown on the guy's back.
It wasn't his back, it was his abdomen, and it wasn't.
Well, I don't know. I'm just telling you the story. You can correct me later. I'm just trying to get you some better understanding. Wherever the water was thrown on this dude.
Right.
Okay.
He was facing me.
Okay. So when the water was thrown, that part I'm guessing is the felony of aggravated battery. Now I don't know what happened with no criminal trespass or why why your daughter was in handcuffs, but I do know that obviously he felt there was enough for a felony charge. Now, this is what happens. Officer Woodall is not your arresting officer.
Who is then?
That investigator, because what Officer Woodall does is once he determines that it may be a felony here, he takes you to the investigator. And when he said that you get a chance to plead your case, what he basically means is if there was some things that didn't look right, you could have explained it to the investigator and he would have been able to put the pieces together. But if you decided not to talk to the investigator, then he only had that guy's story and he got a burnt up back. Stomach. And he got a burnt up stomach. So Officer Woodall was saying, you could have pledged your case to the investigator. That's who's going to be the one arresting you, not me. My job is to take you from this location to the LEC where the investigator will be the one to take warrant. So if you look at your paperwork, I guarantee you it won't be Officer Woodall as the arresting officer. It will be a detective. And that detective more than likely was going to try to talk to you at some point, but couldn't. I guess you might have been a little upset, and I get it. I understand. But it's because you probably didn't understand what was occurring. So when Woodall took you to the police department, that was his only job. He's not the person that arrested you, in a sense. The person that arrested you was the detective. It was Woodall's job to take you to the detective. So Woodall is getting a complaint, but the complaint really is not on him. He's not the one arresting you. He took you to the police department. In turn, you were supposed to be given a chance to tell your side of the story, which I guess that didn't happen, and you ended up going to jail. Now, I don't know exactly. Right, and I don't know if they had that part of how it occurred. I'm pretty sure you probably told them.
I tried, but he didn't.
Right, and so all they saw was this boy burnt up back, and him saying, "I'm sorry, dog, you going?" I don't know why I keep wanting to say back. This boy burnt up stomach, and more than likely, if you didn't get to explain it, then that's probably what they had to go with.
So if someone comes to your house, assaults the occupant,
No.
unwanted, uninvited,
Remember, did you get?
protect yourself.
No. Hold on. But you said you didn't really get to explain that to them, did you?
He refused to let me explain. When I'm telling Woodall,
But the detective.
when I'm explaining to him, because he came back, he said, what happened? He didn't come back to hear what happened. He came back to arrest me. And I know you're saying that he's not friends with that man, He is.
But hold on, let me tell you this. And you okay? Let's say that he
They
is.
are.
Hold on, let me finish.
They were
Right?
sweet talking each other on the phone while I was in the back seat.
Okay, well let's say this. Let's say that they are friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Woodall is still not the person who arrested you.
Right.
The person
but
that.
if that's his friend, should he be allowed to
Okay,
put his hands on me?
but you have to remember. This is how you feel as if it's his friend. There's nothing to say that this man is his friend.
Right. They're not going to say that.
But remember,
That's his friend.
it's just Woodall's job to take you to the detective for what could possibly be a felony. But guess what? You didn't get to explain it to the detective because of whatever reason. I don't know what happened at the police department.
Nothing. He put me in a room and left me.
Okay, so since you didn't get to explain all this that you just said to me, because if I heard all this, then I'll be looking at it differently too. I'll be looking at it like you said.
Right.
But you didn't get to explain none of that.
Because I understand what you're saying, sir, and there's no way I'm supposed to know your procedure.
Right.
I don't know that.
Exactly.
All I know is when the officer comes here, I am to explain to him, as I did when I called in the first place, I asked for an officer to come. And so please let me explain to them what happened. When the officer came, it was a buddy of Antonio Johnson. Even my daughter.
But even so, again, I say let's say it was a buddy of Antonio Jackson. This is what he had to go tell the detective. You can actually pull the copy of the report. If it's what you said, then it's what you said. This is what he had to tell the detective. What you said happened, and what Antonio, whatever his name, said happened. So what they're gonna see is, oh, Antonio's back is burnt. I mean, Antonio's stomach is burnt. So what he's saying is that she threw water on him for no reason.
Yeah,
But
he
what
said
you
I
saying?
assaulted him. He
Okay,
said
so
that
see,
he was having a
so
burger.
now it's your word against his word, but his stomach burnt up. So the only way to fix that is to now go and explain that to a detective. But you didn't get the chance to do it because you probably was a little pissed off from there and missed that opportunity. You get what I'm saying?
No.
You don't get it?
No, sir, I don't.
Which part? I'll try to explain it a
I
little
don't
further.
get. The only thing I get is that it is your position to explain away the situation because you all are one. You all are one. You, Officer Woodall,
Well, one,
the
I'm
detective.
not one with Officer Woodall. I'm his supervisor.
Well, y'all still one. Y'all take care of each other. Y'all got each other back. Just like the woman said to me when I walked into the jailhouse. I said to her, I have no business being here. Why am I here? She said, either way, I got Officer Woodall's back. That's how I take you out.
Okay,
just having each other's back. That's it.
I feel you, and I understand why some people would feel that way.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I'm here to see if Officer Woodall did anything wrong. That's why I come here.
So you
and
just explained to me.
There you go. And I was listening to your story. I didn't read the case. I hadn't talked to Officer Woodall. I hadn't read the case. All this information is coming from you.
Well, how could you not read the case? How could you not speak to Officer Woodall and hear his...
Did you tell me a case number when we talked?
No, sir.
Okay, so again, this is all pure information from you.
Okay.
I have no ties, don't know what's going on other than what you just told me. And based off of what you said, Officer Woodall only took you to the department because an investigator has to speak to you. After the investigator supposedly attempts to talk to you or doesn't talk to you, he used to transport you wherever the investigator wants you to go. So if that investigator would have said, you know what, take her home, Officer Woodall would have brought you home. Because he does not arrest on felony cases. He can only arrest on misdemeanor cases. Felony cases have to mostly go to a detective. So that's that. I mean, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, well, the sad part about it is that I'm at my own apartment, minding my own
I'm with
business. This man came inside my house, unwanted, uninvited. I don't fool with him ever since last year.
And it's not over yet. I mean,
abusing my child.
Remember.
And I have the phone. I have the phone with all of the evidence. I mean, I don't have it on my person.
And it's not over yet. Remember, the police are not the final say-so. You know who's the final say-so?
The judge.
And the jury. That's not us. All we can do is bring forward what it is that we were able to obtain. Now, I get it, and the people are not always going to agree with the police. That's been proven multiple times.
Right.
But I can only explain to you what happened, which they didn't get done the first time. I'm explaining to you now what happened.
Right. So you're saying that he didn't explain to me. Clearly, he didn't come to explain to me. Because when he asked me what happened, as I'm telling him, He's not listening. He's tricking me to come outside to the porch. I guess because he's not allowed to run inside the house, which he came in there anyway.
I think he was trying to say COVID. I don't know why he. When was this? When did this?
February the 12th. February the 12th. February the 12th.
I mean, COVID was still pretty strong at that time.
Right. But that didn't stop him from running up in the house, him and the other guy.
Gotcha.
And then when I'm looking at them like, what are you doing? He says, oh, let's go on the porch because of COVID. So why are you in there?
I don't know. I mean, some people don't think about some things they do. I can't say.
Right, but he's the police officer. I expect him.
But that don't mean he's superhuman. He know all.
For the officer who claims that he has the right to charge me. That's what he says. He's going to charge me. That's what he said. That's his job to charge me. That's what he said at the police station.
But I'm sorry, he didn't make the final charge. That's not him. That's the detective.
He did a lot of things then that he comes to say, oh, he this and he and that. But he did it. He still did it. He did everything I said he did.
The only thing I'm saying that he didn't do was charge him.
No, that's what he said. He said that was his job at the police station while he was telling those people to accost me because I'm a rabid dog. He said to me, watch me. And I said, you don't even have, I said, my understanding is that you can't charge me anything. He said, watch me.
Oh, y'all were arguing back and forth?
No, we weren't. I was just talking trash.
Oh, okay.
Using my mouth without resisting.
Gotcha.
And he said, watch me.
Well, he probably was just talking trash back because he ain't got no. He obviously he can't be the one arrested.
Charge me.
I meant to charge you.
Right. He could arrest me, but he can't charge me, right?
So that's all that was. I mean, I really don't know. I'm sorry it happened like that, but I know how it could be confusing.
And the apology is not what I want. I want to make a complaint. I have the paperwork that I have copies.
I will take that. But you
paperwork.
have to remember, my job is to come back and investigate the complaint. And what I'm telling you right now is when I get the complaint, I'm going to type up what we talked about.
That's fine.
And then it's going to get forwarded to the supervisor, my supervisor. Mm-hmm. And then that's really...
And then your supervisor's going to have your back and Officer Woodall's back. I get it.
Well,
I get it.
It's not about having our back because I look for policy violations. And this he didn't violate any policy. It's not about back. We get in trouble all the time. But we're not going to just go and get people in trouble for no reason at all. He did what he was supposed to do.
Okay.
I mean, that's it.
Yeah, he illegally detained me. He refused to take my statement, and he was sweet-talking Antonio Johnson while we were driving to the police department. As a matter of fact, I said to him, if the perpetrator gets to be the victim, what do I get? He said, no. Something I asked him, and he said he wasn't charging him with anything. He wasn't charging Antonio Johnson with anything. And I know what you're saying. They don't know each other, but they do. Because there's no reason a grown man would take the side of someone else other than listening to the entire story. Why would he just come here to save Antonio Johnson? That doesn't make any sense.
Crazy part is we're not supposed to just take sides. We have to go
exactly.
with what we have.
And if he wasn't taking sides, he would have given me a chance to explain why this man is facing me with a burn on him. Like if.
But you said he did. You said he told him what happened. You said the investigator is the one that didn't get to hear what occurred.
So then, okay. So what I would like to know.
Which means
from
it was
you,
still your word against the other guy.
What I would like to know from you is, can I get the report, a copy or something? Because I'm absolutely and totally sure that Antonio Johnson gave my daughter and Woodall gave my daughter and Antonio Johnson instructions on what to say. And what they said, he told them, was they were verbally arguing, and I became irate.
Are they
and
back
I
together?
just jumped on. Of course. These black women are so fucked up on
So what they're saying is that he told them what to say against you.
What she said, and on the phone when I'm locked up, I'm talking to her, and she said he told Antonio what to say. See, at first she was pissed off, but then these Negroes, they make up. So then she had his back again. But he told her to say that, he told Antonio to say they were verbally arguing, just a verbal argument. And I became irate, and I just came and jumped on Antonio, like, out of nowhere.
This your daughter?
Yeah.
And so a person can tell them to go against their mom.
Honey, I watch crime TV every day. Two white people all the time take good care of their children, raise them till they 29 years old, got a college degree, and as soon as them people say we're not taking care of you no more, that bastard cut their head off, cut their bodies off. Come on, bro.
Oh, so you saying your daughter got
She
mad?
ain't shit. That's
Oh,
what
okay,
I'm saying.
gotcha.
She ain't shit. Because she let this man beat her in front of
So hold
her
on.
children.
So let me ask you this, and that goes right back to what I was saying. If she didn't speak up for you that night and say that this is how it happened, and he didn't speak up for you that night and say that this is how it happened,
Right, he wouldn't.
I got him, but
Right.
that's your daughter too.
Right.
Neither one of them spoke up.
Right.
Then the officer still only has your word against his word, and he burned. That's all he got.
I understand.
So you had to take it to an investigator to look at it differently, but you didn't talk to the investigator.
The investigator never came. Only a detective came, stood at the door, laughing at me, shaking his
I get
head.
it. So is your complaint with Woodall, who only had this information, or with the detective, if you think about it? Because Woodall only had what you said and what this man said, because your daughter didn't help.
Right, she refused to be
You see
my
what I'm
witness.
saying? So what am I supposed to do? If I take sides this way, I'm wrong. If I take sides this way, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But what I can say is this boy burnt.